Okay, here's a two-part free fall problem. You throw a ball directly upward at time t equals 0 at initial speed 13.1 meters per second. What is the maximum height the ball reaches above when it leaves your hand? Ignore air resistance and take g equals 9.8 meters per second squared. After reading the question, first thing we'll want to do is draw a picture. So let's go back and figure out what's important. The thing we're looking for is what is the maximum height. That will be answered by something, right? This is some value of y. And then we're given some important initial things. We're told that at t equals 0, it has an initial speed of 13.1 meters per second. So that will be important. Let's draw a picture. So here's the ball. It leaves your hand at 13.1 meters per second. And then it goes up to some other height. And we'll make that the maximum height. And since it's the maximum height, we know that it is at rest at that moment, at least vertically. It's got to be at rest if it's at its maximum height. It's no longer rising because it's already at its maximum. It can't go any higher. And it hasn't fallen from anywhere, so it can't be coming from anywhere higher. So it has to be at rest as well. And that's going to be a general truism that you should remember, that when a thing's at its maximum height in a free fall problem, then its vertical velocity is going to be 0. All right, this is our diagram. I guess we could also put in here that during this motion, it accelerates downward at rate g, which is what they tell us. We don't have a reference frame yet, so we should put one of those in. Let's say that this is going to be y equals 0, and it's also the moment t equals 0. And this is going to be y equals some height at a time that we don't know. And I don't know the height, and I don't know the time. But I want the height. So that's the thing I'm looking for. And we also know, I guess we can pencil them in, we know that the velocity, which is vx, is known to be 0 here. And the velocity, which is v0x, the initial velocity, is known to be 13.1 meters per second. So we're looking for something in something in h. Something involves a coordinate. And we have velocity information, but we don't have time information. So we're going to want the one that doesn't have time information in it. And if you look at your equation sheet, you'll find that that's vx squared equals v0x squared plus 2 times ax times the height minus the initial height. And then we'll start saying, well, the final velocity is 0, and the initial height I decided was 0. And our final height is going to be h, and we know that the acceleration is going to be minus g. So this equation can be turned into 0 equals the initial speed squared plus 2 times minus g times h. And now I can just solve. So I'm going to take and I'm going to say, well, I've got to add 2 times plus g times h to this side to get rid of it, but that gives me plus 2gh on that side. So our equation becomes 2gh equals v0x squared. And then I'm going to divide out by 2g, but I have to do on both sides, to end up at the end with h is v0x quantity, all squared, over 2g. So it's 13.1 meters per second quantity squared over 2 times 9.8 meters per second square. This is 8.7556. 12245 meters, which of course should be rounded to how many? But 3 decimal places, 3 sig figs, so 8.76 meters. And we see, hopefully not surprisingly, that that's exactly what Sapling thought we were going to put in there. All right. Couple things. If you're typing this in your calculator, remember that you'll also need to put parentheses around that thing. So if you're going to type it into the calculator, you're going to have to type it as 13.1 quantity squared over parentheses 2 times 9.81 close parentheses. All right. because of the order of operations, that's what the calculator is going to require you to do to get the right answer. If you don't put the parentheses, then you're going to get 13.1 squared over 2 times 9.8, and you'll get something like 840, which would certainly not be good. All right, the second part of the question says, at what times does the ball pass through half the maximum height? And then they ask us for the earlier time, and then they ask us for the later time. Why do we get 2 times? Because if we draw a picture again, and we say, well, here's our object, and it heads up, and it goes past the, let's say that's going to be the maximum height. So this is going to be half the height, and we can see that it passes it on the way up, but then also on the way down. And so we'll need to find 2 times. We'll find out that that won't be so bad. Let's put our things back in that we know. We know that this is 13.1 meters per second. We know that the acceleration, of course, is still g downward. It's still in free fall. And then over here, we're gonna declare that this height is still 0 at t equals 0, with velocity is v0x, which is 13.1 meters per second. And then the other moment we're going to have is y is 1/2 the height we found at some time that we don't know. I really shouldn't, I'll call it t1. We can't call it tf anymore because I used that earlier, and I'm stuck with that. And then v is, I'll call it v1. We don't know that either, and this time we're looking for that time. So what we'd like to do now is avoid anything with a vx in it, because we don't have the final velocity. But we do have the final position, and we want the times. So we're going to want to take the equation that combines those two, and that's going to be the one that looks like this. Y equals y initial plus the initial speed in the y times t plus 1/2 times the acceleration in the y times t squared. And I'm going to plug in the moments that I know. So I know that I end up at a 1/2 h. I know that I started at 0. I also know that I started with 13.1 meters per second times the thing I'm looking for. I'll call that t1. And then I also know that I have an acceleration, which is minus 9.8 meters per second square times t1 squared. And of course, we could compute a 1/2 h because we have the answer from before. So a 1/2 h is going to be 8.76 over 2. So this is going to be 4.38 meters. Let's put that in blue. All right, let's do this. We actually know that this is 4.38 meters. And so we have a quadratic, right? We have a thing in t square, and we need to solve it somehow. You have lots of ways you can solve quadratic. I'm going to solve it graphically, and I'm going to use Desmos to do it. All right, here's the Desmos file on that particular problem, where I've graphed the half height that we want, the 4.38 that we wanted, and I've graphed the path of the ball as a function of time. And we can see that it passes through those heights at 2 different times, 0.392 and 0.2282 seconds. These do, in fact, turn out to be the ones that Sapling is looking for. If you're interested in where it came from, the Desmos file here is on the right end. We do have to notice that one kind of unfortunate thing about Desmos that we just have to deal with, and there's no way around it, that it can't handle y as a function of t. So I had to turn t's back into x's here. Don't get thrown by it. It's sort of a limitation of Desmos, and it's the thing that we science teachers have been begging them to fix, to give us arbitrary variables as our horizontal variables, but they are still at heart math teachers who write that program, and they don't do it yet. So we have to, when we're going to graph it, we have to remember that all the t's have to be written in as x's. It's annoying, but it's not that big a deal. You could also, of course, just take the quadratic solver on your calculator, or you could do the quadratic equation. Whatever method you like to get quadratics is fine. Notice we get 2 times as expected, and that's why we have an earlier and a later. We have a going up and a coming down.